Hey, thanks for tuning in. And sorry about that. We were having connectivity issues. We're buried deep in the hallowed halls of my alma mater, Ball State University, as well as Nick's, and quite a few of you out there I know that have attended Ball State as well. Well, without further ado, which is a terrible Toastmasters way to begin things, it's my pleasure to introduce you guys to my friend Ted here and client here at Ball State University. Ted, tell us what you do here at Ball State.
So I am the Director of Academic Initiatives and Student Strategies for the Division of Online and Strategic Learning. We have a refreshed reorganization here and some new focus to work with our learners.
That's awesome. And you can't fit that on a business card very well, can you?
You cannot.
Well, what does that mean? Tell us a little bit more about that, the position that you hold.
Sure. So I'll boil it down to some primary focus areas, and the areas that I'm most responsible for right now are the student life cycle areas, from lead follow-up, recruitment, some academic advising, retention activities, things that translate very well into the business world in terms of procuring customers, making them happy, satisfying their needs, and getting them to be ongoing and return customers.
That's awesome.
To use that business lingo.
That's so funny. And who would have thought the university world, kind of operates sort of the same way as a business does, doesn't it?
Sure. We definitely want satisfaction amongst our students.
That's so funny because for those of you that haven't heard my story, Ted and I know each other because we used to be comedians, but we got fired because we weren't funny. Anyway, it was pretty sad. See, even the jokes don't roll over. I was hoping to get like a little Facebook love or a little thumbs up there.
Sure.
Didn't happen.
Yeah, sad trombone.
Yeah, it didn't work at all. But anyway, we used to be friends. We're not friends anymore. Because we worked at Comedy Sports downtown Indianapolis together, and when I had left there, sent an email out and told everybody where I was going, my friend Ted here reached out and immediately said, hey, this AddressTwo thing is something Ball State needs. And again, I graduated from Ball State. I know the size of the campus and the number of students that are here, and it was really quite funny because, as you can tell, Ted's pretty even, until he gets on stage, so watch out for that. But he's pretty even-headed, easygoing, and it was so funny because I called, immediately picked up my phone, and was like, Ted, no, you're wrong. No, AddressTwo is for small to medium-sized companies, and people like me are the ones that use AddressTwo, and like our small little mom and pop comedy club. And Ted, easy as can go, goes, it's not for the whole university, Troy. It's for my department. And it was like a Mack truck had hit me. I think I even went, oh. And I was like, so how many people are in your department at the time? I think it was 7,
right.
Maybe 8 or something like that. And I was like, oh, this makes way more. And now I think not only do you have more people here in the department, which is awesome. Matter of fact, you even have, if I remember right, and forgive me forgetting her name, but even Erin, I think, who may be even your CRM strategist now.
Right. Yeah. Just added to the staff on the marketing and communications side. My colleagues in that area. It's a nice
so
blend
awesome.
and a match.
I love that, and it was really kind of funny because not only is Ted's department, but we also have like the international department, and I think a couple other ones that I'm totally forgetting at the moment. Oh, career services,
right,
even,
right,
which is awesome, and thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll be taking Ted out to Mezzalunas later.
Yeah, that's not necessary. Good stuff here.
But so, background story gone though is that so you had 7 users here at Ball State. Just seeing what you'd seen of the system, just kind of peeking around, going, where's Troy going? What kind of attracted you guys to using or approaching me and AddressTwo?
Sure. So really prior to that, that email going out and learning about your switch, and I'm thrilled to death that's really worked out for you. And
I love it.
It's been a nice relationship over the past almost 6 years, I think. So, but anyways, we were just kind of immersed in a need of providing better service for our students in managing a high volume of information in ways that were very siloed, disconnected, and very manually intense. And so it just was really inefficient. And for a few years I had been just knowing that we had a need, we could do things better, more efficient, and allow people to take their strengths in dealing with students and prospective students on a one-to-one basis. And if we could get this problem solved, that we could actually get to do probably what we do best. And so, we were managing things through email files and through spreadsheets and homegrown database solutions and all of those sorts of things. And so when I heard that it was going on, what AddressTwo was doing, and you were going to put together a little, hey, try us out, lunch and learn, I think, something along.
I think that, or coffee with Troy, maybe
sure,
even what it was.
Right, yeah, it might have been. I never did get that coffee, by the way. Yeah, we'll work on that. But
Jamba Juice, man, it's right over
right
there.
around the corner. Sure,
So excited
right here
about
on the
that.
Ball State campus. But and so one of my colleagues and I came and learned about AddressTwo and thought, wow, this could potentially be a solution.
Yep.
And learned directly about that. Shared that then with a colleague that does specifically our marketing and communications, and she really is the one that picked up the ball and really started running with it from a marketing standpoint. What can it do for the campaign side of things, and for me, that student life cycle of those interactions with our prospective students and our students was very, very appealing.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things that I wanted to see if you would talk about a little bit was the growth cycle of that first year, and then let's talk comparably speaking to 2018 as far as your usage goes. What are when you first got in? What got you doing it? What was the appeal? And then how's things grown from a productivity wise, from a using that system and our software, plus the processes and the human touch that Ball State puts into reaching out to its students?
Sure. Boy, there's a lot in there, so I'll try to digest that.
I'm no Tom Cochran, so
try to digest that there. We started out kind of toe in the water. Just wanted to try it maybe with a few situations and kind of build the process. And I think that's been the important thing that has lasted the 5.5 years that we've been with AddressTwo, is to continually improve our processes and let the tool do the lifting that it can do, and then do what we do best on that human side. And so that's been a nice blend. But we started out by serving a particular student population and advising student population from the point that they make an inquiry through the application process, and then for them to matriculate into enrolled students, and then to continue that academic advising process. And my staff has really embraced that.
Yeah, they have.
I will tell you that on the front end, as people were, it was something new, and they weren't sure about it, and there was a learning curve. But I think the feedback that I've received from my staff is it was a lot easier than they had expected once they were willing to actually give it a try. And more than that, they have been invaluable at making our processes better, but being able to utilize the tool to do that.
Absolutely. I couldn't compliment your staff more on the fact is that they, number one, and you're right, it makes me laugh a little bit, because what is this gigantic thing? And then you get the, okay. So for starting out, it's just put some stuff in here and do some following up, okay? But how do I find that later down the road? And you're right, it's, put the pinky finger in and then the ring finger, and it's kind of funny. But then from a process standpoint, what I've loved about our relationship specifically with Ball State and your department is that you guys have really taken that process and mapped it out, number one. But then when there's a fork in the road, if you will, if there's a problem, if there's a wish list, and you guys communicate and I don't remind me, how many people are in the department now, as far as
using AddressTwo, we easily have 15, 17 people using AddressTwo just within our division.
Yeah, just within your division. But what I think is cool is that you guys will start talking, and and it's almost like it evolves as a wish, if you will. But every, I don't know, every 3-6 months, and at this point though, 6 years later, it's probably about every year, we always have a great meeting with Nancy and yourself, and then Aaron coming up here pretty soon as well. But then it's, hey, what else can we do to make your life easier? And next thing you know, we're going, hey, we can build that. And so a lot of the things as far as what you guys have done from a marketing standpoint, like you said, Nancy has rolled that, and it's awesome. Hey, we've taken it a step further through building different software pieces into the system. So a lot of our users and viewers don't know that not only can we do CRM, do email marketing, but once you have that process in place is if you see a fork in the road or if you're having a problem, that's when you come to us. And I know that Ted and his department has learned that really well is they come to us and go, hey man, we have a question about this. And I go, yep, doesn't do that, but we can build it. That's the big thing I want to make sure that people know is that when you run into those, don't get frustrated, ask questions. So Ted, out of the department, what have you seen, like, as far as, let's talk more on the customer relationship side. What have you seen? How has that benefited Ball State in particular as far as not only attracting but retention of students?
Sure. I think one of the most valuable things to our student services operation has been the contact notes. Sometimes our customers, our students, our prospective students, they take a long time to make that decision. This is in many ways, this is a big ticket item. And so, they want to be informed. They're trying not to make an emotional decision. And our approach to this process is we want people to be satisfied because that's part of the retention idea. And so we want to have those very real, genuine conversations on the front end and talk about the most important thing probably to any customer is why. Why are you thinking about pursuing your education? Why are you considering this program? What are you hoping to accomplish? What's this going to look like down the road? And so we invest that time on the front end to learn those whys, and we record those in the contact notes, and that's very important to us. Down the road, as a student circles back around maybe a year later, or a prospective student circles back around a year later and says, hey, I think I'm ready to move forward, we can revisit those earlier conversations, bring those out and say, hey, I remember you were talking about, wanting a better life for yourself and your children. And they're like, yeah, I can't believe you remembered that. And don't get me wrong, I have an excellent staff, and often they'll remember that, but they're literally dealing with thousands of prospective students or customers each year, and so it's going to be hard to get all of those details right at the granular level.
Well, and you have turnover too.
You do,
yeah.
You do, and that's a seamless pass along to to the next person to just pick up the ball where it was left before, and so that's what got me before. And most of you know this that are current customers or prospects, or we've talked in the past, is that's what got me hooked into AddressTwo is the relationship side of it. Yeah.
Software is software. I don't want to say any Joe Schmo can go out and build a CRM, but from our simplicity standpoint, from the ability to log in and be, hey, Ted's wife's name is Amy. Being able to just see that quickly in my notes. Ted, how's things going? Hey, last we talked, Amy was, getting a new position, and tell me about that. Whoa, how'd you remember that? And I've mentioned this before, and I'm not sure if it's been on Facebook, but things like, you call a prospective student and you hear their dog bark in the background.
Right.
And you talk about people that love to talk to people. I mean, I have 3 dogs of my own. You guys have seen them. A quick, oh, I hear your dog barking. What kind of dog do you have? Well, I have 3 pugs, for anybody that wants to put that in their CRM. Cool. A year later, they see that in the notes. Hey, how are your pugs doing? Hey, I just adopted a pug.
Right.
Now, obviously, I would only say that if it was true. Don't lie about that kind of stuff, folks.
Yeah, transparency is important.
Transparency is very important. But even more so from a standpoint of, I just picked up the ball from where we had a former employee who had been, talking with a customer about some big marketing plans for his company, and one thing led to another, and I picked that ball back up, and I was able to literally go and look at my employee's notes, what she had talked about, go to some of the files on our server as far as marketing materials that she sent out, and pick that ball right back up and continue the conversation. And I think that happens a lot with your
Well,
perspectives.
it does, and another feature of AddressTwo that I really appreciate is task management, because sometimes those conversations start with somebody, and very appropriately, but they may not have the expertise or the knowledge or the experience to be the right person to do that. So rather than just simply having to remember to send an email or a phone call, leave a voicemail message, or what's even worse is bounce a prospective customer over to somebody else for what may seem like a cold call.
Sure.
We can use the tools within AddressTwo to set tasks, and then that will queue up an email for that staff member and a reminder within the dashboard that they need to reach out to this person, and here's why, and here's what they're going to need. So it gives us preparation time to be able to handle that conversation, whereas if we were doing that right in the moment, the person it needs to go to very appropriately, maybe juggling things right in the moment, and they want to provide good service to the student or to the prospective student, but
that data is buried somewhere.
It is, and so being able to use that task manager for that follow-up, and to be able to tell that prospective person, you're going to get a call from this person or follow-up from this person at a specific day and time.
Cool.
Is very helpful, and we don't get a lot of complaints that come through for people not following up in that regard. So it's really helped us to have that seamless handoff to somebody else.
Yeah, and a lot of that seamless handoff, and I want you to talk about this a little bit, as far as those tasks and who gets what. Many years into our relationship with Ball State, we've actually done a really not complicated, but what do I want to call, intense custom form for Ball State. So things like if I choose my master's in early childhood education, that specific task goes to the specific user or a specific advisor or something like that. But the one thing that I noticed is that, and again, I guess I'm bringing this up for everybody who's viewing, is that if you're not using our web forms, even just a simple web form, first name, last name, phone number, email address, really helps improve your response time, and building up your database for that matter. And that's what they've done a really great job at. But I think, in my experience in testing the Ball State web forms, and this is where it comes down to it, and I have to laugh a little bit because I'll go in and fill out something like, and I can't remember all the different majors, but let's just say I've gone in and filled out that form. I'll choose cooking or something like that. Master's in dietary, I think, is what I chose one time. I'm not kidding, folks, when I say, and within an hour, I had a phone call. Hey, this is such and so, student advisor at Ball State. Just wanted to see, introduce myself and see what brings you to us. And I think that's how you guys roll things around here, right?
Yeah, it really is. Our marketing communications team here, they've been really fantastic, and that's really their world. So I'm on the fringes of that, but what I know is that then helps to kind of kick off all of the processes of communication that's going to get back with the customer very soon. And one thing that we know in our industry that I think is very real in any industry, if a customer takes the time to fill out a form to give you that information, then most likely whatever business is going to get back with them first with the information they're looking for is probably going to win the customer most of the time. And certainly other things like cost and timeliness and those things are a factor, but it's that relationship, and relationship really is your middle name,
really
CRM.
Is. I think that's my middle name too, isn't
Sure.
it? But it's important, and I think that over my sales career, now 20 years into it anyway, is how Ted from Ball State has been a friend for probably 12 to 15 years
at least
point.
a dozen years. Yes. Well, a friend. I've known you that long.
Yeah,
but,
whatever. But I think that's how it grows. Things like, and Ted, again, I thank you very much, but, Ted's reached out to us for help with many of his nonprofit organizations. Matter of fact, we're getting ready to start that this year for one of his awesome nonprofits here in town. Talk a little bit more about, again, we have a staff at AddressTwo. If you haven't met us all, get on Facebook and find us. But you've got Nick at AddressTwo. You don't have to talk about me because people love me. I'm just kidding. But as far as, your experience on your side, as far as customer service, have you received great customer service from us? Have you, do questions get answered in a timely manner, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel real confident. That's been nice to have that relationship with what we perceive as a smaller business in AddressTwo. You are responsive. We have that direct contact.
Yeah.
That you've afforded us, and I believe you're all your customer profile. Even so much that I have designated staff that really handle that interaction. We try to funnel all of our questions in one place so that we're not bombarding you.
That's super helpful
the
too.
way that's the way that we manage it, and I think that's the better way to get the solutions that we need. But what's nice is I personally, as the director of this portion of our operation, I don't personally have to worry about it, because I know that if one or two of my designated staff members reach out to you, that it's going to get resolved in a timely fashion.
Yep.
And I don't have to get involved.
I think we just chat each other on Facebook memes most of the time anyway.
Most of the time.
Yeah, and that's actually very helpful as far as, a medium-sized company, to have that one or two staff member who, they're not a Troy expert or an expert at AddressTwo, but they're the go-to. They're the one that rely on that person. For a long time, was it Erin here? No.
Erin, I'm sorry.
Erin's the new girl here.
Correct. So Amanda.
Amanda has been pivotal, and I think even from a standpoint of just asking that staff member in your organizations that are watching today to just be that main contact. You'll be amazed at how quickly it makes Amanda or an Erin, in their case now, makes them that expert. Even those small little questions of, hey, I have a duplicate, how do I erase that?
Right.
Hey, that's going to come across 3 more staff members' desks, and guess what? Somebody's going to get to them. We're pretty quick, don't get me wrong. Most of the time, you hear from us the same day, most of the time. But having that staff member is like sitting at their desk and going, hey, Amanda or Erin, how do I delete this contact? I have 2 of them.
Right.
And Erin can, 30 seconds answer that. Very, very helpful.
Right.
Great tip for sure.
Yeah, and I think for us, and it may not work for everybody, and I'm sure some of your customers are single-person operations too. But for us, then that allows the opportunity for somebody who is far more immersed in it. The time they spend in AddressTwo, that is a key system that my staff uses.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So they're able to think through additional questions, and when there is an issue, they're able to resolve that issue, but then apply it across to other things too. So or if they can foresee issues coming up, then they can be proactive and reach out before something might become an issue, or reach out with a potential custom solution.
Custom solution.
We've come to that fork in the road. What can we do? Does AddressTwo do this, or could it do this? And that lets us explore that.
Yeah, and that's been very, very helpful. Things like, and I don't remember if it was Amanda, but I just think of a few examples where somebody will call, and it's what seems like a simple question. Now, on my side of things, it may be a very difficult answer, meaning no, it doesn't do that, or hey, that's a great suggestion. I know that I've got one in the hopper right now, and I say the hopper, our actual project management software, that somebody asked for. Hey, I can't figure out a way how to do this, and literally I sat there and went, doesn't exist yet, but it will. But it doesn't take much. If you ask Amanda here, Ted, or anybody at Ball State that is sufficient at AddressTwo, is that quick 30-second phone call, the one sentence, hey Troy, can I search by made available to all users? That was actually the one that we're working on. And 30 seconds, and hey, no, it doesn't exist, but I'll let you know when it does. Very, very helpful. So feel free to reach out anytime you have those. Hey, this may be a dumb question, but it's actually helpful and not dumb. So we want to hear from you for sure.
Yeah, the other thing that I find has been really valuable over the past 5.5 years, as AddressTwo has continued to develop and grow, and new features and things, is the query and reports that we're able to run, customizable down to a very granular level that really allows us to manage our relationships with our students, our customers, and to make sure that we're not we're not dropping the ball and people aren't falling through the cracks, and that we're really providing that stellar customer service that people have come to expect from our institution. And so very helpful for me as an administrator to just know what's been going on, and wow, the volume that the staff is doing really has been amazing. And additional to that, it also allows my individual staff members an opportunity to run their own queries and to perhaps communicate out at key points in time. It won't be too long, and we'll be coming up on midterm examinations here, and so we'll want to reach out to our existing active students and to give them some encouragement for their midterms. Again, to let them know we're here to help resolve any problems or concerns. We're cheerleading with them.
That's awesome.
But just to make sure that we as an institution or a business really do care about their success.
That's awesome. So, again, we do these Wednesday webinars every single Wednesday. In our fourth Wednesday of the month, we always spotlight either a user or an issue or a feature, all on our Facebook page. Ball State has had a lot of success in using AddressTwo over the last 5.5 years, so much that they've spread the word over the different departments here in the campus. I'm actually going to walk over to my theater department and communications department after this meeting and drop off some business cards because I'm a good sales guy. But we've appreciated, having Ted on the team. We do look at Ball State as a part of our team. They do help us a lot with requests and how-tos and that kind of stuff. Helps us help you guys better, and if there's anything we can do for you guys, let us know. That's what we really like to hear from people a lot.
Sure.
Ted, any final thoughts or anything like that as we kind of close out our Facebook Wednesday?
No, if you're watching this and you've been kind of on the edge there, and you've really never had a real conversation with Troy or any of the folks there at AddressTwo, I really would encourage everybody to just have that conversation. Take a look at AddressTwo, and just to know it's not as scary as it seems, and it really does a fantastic job.
And it's a lot of fun too, right? I mean, you get me.
It is a lot of fun.
Thanks.
You
get me.
That's a bonus.
And my terrible jokes.
Yes, I can relate.
They're horrible, aren't they? Now you know why we're good friends. But thanks so much, everybody, for joining. And again, next Wednesday we have the Wednesday off. I think next Wednesday would be the 5th Wednesday of the month, right?
It is.
Yes, I get a break. No, I'm just teasing. But join me back on our regular demo schedule. So every Wednesday of the month, the first Wednesday we do a webinar. Live, you get my terrible jokes, but you can also ask questions. And that's just our basic training. Come, watch our basic training, learn about setting up your account, how to customize it a little bit, but then those 5 rules that you should do every day. The next Wednesday, the second Wednesday of the month, is a more advanced training. How to make it more customizable, how to make sure that you're doing what you should be doing in the system. And then we touch on the pipeline feature a little bit. And then that third Wednesday of the month is all about our email system. Anywhere from sending your monthly newsletter to targeted marketing, just like Ball State does here, and et cetera. And then the fourth Wednesday, we're right back here on our Facebook page, having a lot of fun, talking about customer successes and sharing the love of AddressTwo. But again, thanks so much for joining us, Ted. I appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate you too, Troy.
I'm gonna have to go grab a Jamba Juice after this.
All right, let's go.
Awesome. Come on, Ted.
Sure.